number 2, the answer is going to be your ability to make a shot is higher following a success than a failure. Basically, it's saying your ability to make a shot is higher when you make the previous shot than when you missed the previous shot. Questions? You good? Okay, number 3. In the 2007, the Colorado Rockies surprised the world of baseball with the late season charge to capture a spot in the playoffs and the overall record of 90-73. During this tremendous month, they had a season-long streak of 11 consecutive wins. Does this streak give convincing evidence that the Rockies were a streaky team? State the hypotheses. ES means both. The null is where you're including independent. Independent is same, null is same. So you're going to say, let me make this smaller so I don't run out of room. The Rockies' ability to win is independent. Done. That's the null hypothesis. Rocky's ability to win is independent. HA is where you pull in streaky. You're going to say the Rockies were a streaky team. Questions about either one of the study guys? Nope. Okay. Describe how to simulate the distribution of the longest streak. Okay? I don't care for this problem if you write it as a paragraph or as numbered steps. So far, I've mainly showed you the paragraph. For this study guide, I'm going to show you the numbered steps just so you can pick which one you like better. Does not matter to me. So the first step is to take however many note cards you need. The number comes from the total number of games. What was the total number of games? 163. So you're going to take 163 note cards. Basically, all you do is add those two numbers together. 90 plus 73 is 163. Okay, number 2. You're going to write a W on 90 and L on 73. So you have your note cards, you write the L, you write the W. What do you do next with them? Shuffle. Step 4 is to lay them out in random order. They're there every stinking day, and I still trip over them. So lay them out in random order. And the last one is to count the what? Count the longest street. It's okay. We just got back from lunch, thinking about food. Perfect. Okay, next page. Briefly describe what information is provided by the dot plot. Okay. All the possible, you can say outcomes, but your test might say longest streaks that could occur by random chance. All the possible outcomes that could occur by random chance. Okay. The test statistic is found by the actual data. The p-value is found by the dot plot. This is still not changed. We're trying to estimate the p-value of the longest streak. So our test statistic was 11 because that was the longest streak that they had. Okay, 11. Find 11 on the dot plot, which looks like it's here. Count how many dots are 11 or more. Chastity said 8. Do y'all agree with her? So to estimate the p-value, you're going to take 8 and divide by 100, which is, that is the p-value, 0.08. Interpreting the p-value is where you're going to say there is an 8% chance that the Rockies will have a, it's not the difference. Difference means subtract. Did we subtract anything? No. We'll have a longest streak of 11 or more just by random chance. This is your p-value. This is your test statistic. Questions? Make an appropriate conclusion. First of all, is your p-value big or small? It's big. It's bigger than 0.05. It's bigger than 5%. So because it is big, are we going to reject the null or fail to reject the null? Therefore, it is plausible. I want to run out of room. That the Rockies ability to when is independent? Okay, don't flip over yet. Don't flip over yet. After I made your study guide, I went back and edited the test because two of the questions I didn't really like the way it was formatted. And so I moved the type of question to the bottom of this question, but I already printed the study guides. So you need to add this question to the bottom of that same page. Suppose you made an error which type did you make? Okay. This is where that chart comes in that we drew on our notes the other day. What? Okay, let's draw the chart to see if that's right. I want to redraw the chart for y'all. It's a 4x4, but it's kind of a weird 4x4. Okay, so you need 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, you need this chart. You don't have to draw this chart on the test tomorrow. Okay? But if you memorize this chart, it makes type 1 and type 2 error easy. Reality goes on top. Decision goes on bottom. When we made our decision, we can either reject HO or what? Fail to reject HO. Those are the only two options that could occur in our decision. The reality could be is that HO is true or HO is false. Rejecting the HO is true. Type 1 error. Reject HO is false. Correct. Fail to reject HO is true. Correct. Fail to reject HO is false. Type 2. So what did we do? Did we fail to reject or rejected? So what error was it? Done. Like I said, you don't have to draw the chart. But if you memorize the chart, it kind of helps with the type 1, type 2 error. Any questions over that? Okay. In 2011 Super Bowl, quarterback Ben of the Pittsburgh Steelers completed 25 of his 40 passes. Here are the outcomes of his pass attempts in chronological order. What was his longest streak during the game? Where was his longest streak? The 6 Ys. I expect you to underline it and say the number. So find it and state how many that was in a row. In 2008-2009 regular season, the Detroit Red Wings hockey team had an overall record of 51 wins and 31 losses. Here are the outcome of their games in chronological order. How many streaks of 4 or more did they have during the season? 7, anyone want to underline them, please? You said 7, come on. All you got to do is underline. There's no math to it unless you count counting. Okay, you see how on the end you underlined the 4 W's? The W's continued on the next line, so make sure you underline those last 2. Yep. But that counts as one underline, but it kind of moved over to the next section. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are those the ones that y'all got? Okay. So there were 7. There again, I expect you to underline them and state the number. 1. You get that one? 2, 3, 4. This is 2 because it's 4 L's, 5 L's, so that's 5, 6, 7. She just underlined them all at once. And you got it? Okay. The next question is just like the first one. The only thing that's different is step number 5. So the first step is to take 82 note cards, write W on and L on. What's next? Shuffle. Lay out in random order. Count streaks of 4 or more. Questions over that? Okay, I didn't realize it before I printed, but C kind of didn't get a lot of writing room, so we'll have to kind of write it on the bottom. So that's okay as long as you know it goes to part C. It says estimate and interpret the p-value. Your test statistic is what? 7. Seven is here. How many dots are 7 or more? Did everyone else get 25? So it's going to be 25 divided by 100, which equals what? Interpret the p-value. a 25% chance that the, what was it, Red Wings? Will have 4 or more streaks in a row just by random chance. Questions about the interpretation? Make the appropriate conclusion. Is our p-value big or small? So do we reject or fail to reject? Therefore, it is ability to do what? Their ability to do what? What are we looking for the outcome of? What does W and L stand for? Win or loss. So their ability to win is independent. Okay, this is where you have to add that other question. It's the same one as last time. Suppose you made an error. What kind of error did you make? I'm not going to redraw the chart just because it's on the last page. If you drew it the first time, you can use the same chart. We failed to reject. So what is the only type of error we could have made? Type 2. Okay? So make sure you include that. Okay. If the p-value is 0.01, do you fail to reject or reject? 0.01. You reject. So what type of error could you have made? Type 1. Questions over that? If the p-value is 0.01, do you reject the null or fail to reject the null? You reject it. Okay? If we reject the null, what is the only possible error we could have made? Did you draw the chart? Okay, chart.
Okay, so tomorrow it would be like half edition.
It ends on a whole problem. So I think tomorrow might be 11 questions, not 10 and 10. It's just, I didn't want to cut off half of the full problem. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Let me know when you're done, Clint.
But
Okay, so these are your ordered pairs or your ordered pairing. It says make 30 pairs. If you do not have 30 pairs, you messed up. Count them again, try over. Repeat. If you do not have the exact amount of pairs that they told you you should have, do it over. You hold your breath for a minute when you do it, don't you? Okay. Summarize in a two-way table. That is a 4x4. Okay. The top row is your first outcome. So for this, last time it was made first shot, missed first shot. Now it's won first game, lost first game. So won first, lost first. Then it's won second, lost second. What goes on the ends? Total. Okay, one first game, one second game is going to be WW. Okay? What's wrong, Quint? That is saying in this pair, you either won the first game or you lost the first game. You either won the second game or lost the second game in the pair. Okay, so how many WWs did we have? Okay, lost first game, won second game, WL. Did I say WL? I meant LW. I'm sorry. LW. Lost first game is L. Won second game is LW. 7. Okay. Won first game, lost second game is WL. Lost first game, lost second game is LL. Which is, what is 8 plus 7? What is 8 plus 7? What is 8 plus 8? What is 7 plus 7? What is 15 plus 15? What is 16 plus 14? If that number does not match this number, try again. Okay? There again, that's where you hold your breath. Okay? The heart stopper. Okay. To calculate the test statistic of their ability to win after a win and win after a loss, okay, this is going to be your second, win the second game after a total of one first game. So how many total games did they win first? 16. Of those 16, how many did they win the second? What is 8 divided by 16? 50% or 0.5. Either one works. And their ability to win the second game divided by the total of losses in the first game. So how many total losses did they have the first game? Or, yeah. Total lost first time. 14. Of those 14, how many of them did they win? What is 7 divided by 14? There's a reason why I wrote it like this. What is 0.5 minus 0.5. That is the test statistic. You remember how we added those two questions? They came from this. You no longer need this. I didn't like the wording of it, so I changed it. So you can scratch out 7A and 7B. That's the two questions that we rewrote earlier on the study guide and created the chart. 7A and B. You scratch those out, and you know how we wrote on, like, I think it was problem 3 after E or F? We wrote, suppose you made an error, what error you made? That replaced those two. Are there any questions over anything?
Number 1, but that's all did I miss something?
Okay, so going back to number 1. Suppose you and your friends are playing basketball. In this context, explain what it means to claim if your shots are independent. Do you understand that independent means that your ability to be successful is going to be the same whether you made the first shot or missed the first shot? Okay? You're basically stating that in a sentence that looks like this. The success of your shot does not depend on the previous shot. So the outcome of your second shot is going to be the same whether you made the first shot or missed the first shot. Both of the wording's the same. Then that's fine. Just know I've given you a heads up. I believe 1 and 2 are one of the multiple choice questions. And I'm pretty sure it's worded like this. Pretty sure. I believe may I see your paper? Tomorrow is basically going to be the front and back of the first page, and Friday will be the front and back of the second page. Both days have multiple choice and constructed response. So it's not multiple choice one day, constructed response the next day. It's all mixed together. Because I definitely was not going to make answer choices for describing the distribution. So I just gave you another hint. I definitely was not going to make answer choices for describing the distribution or describing the simulation. That was going to be a pain, so I decided they can memorize that one. Are there any other questions?